This next song, I first heard on the VHS tape of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which came out in 1989. Anybody else? 1989 VHS of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There was a Pizza Hut commercial that used this. It's a song by Paul Stookey from Peter, Paul, and Mary. Saturday summers, when I was a kid, we'd run to the schoolyard and here's what we did. We'd pick out the captains, we'd choose up the teams. It was always a measure of my self-esteem, 'cause the fastest, the strongest played shortstop and first. The last ones they picked were the worst. Well, I never needed to ask, it was sealed. I just took up my place in right field. Playing right field, it's easy, you know. You can be awkward, you can be slow. That's why I'm here in right field, watching the dandelions grow. Playing right field can be boring and dull. Little leagues never have lefties that pull. I dream of the day they'd hit one my way. They never did, but still I would pray that I'd make some fantastic catch on the run and not lose the ball in the sun. And then I'd awake from this long reverie, and I'd pray that the ball never came out to me. Here in right field, it's easy, you know. You can be awkward, you can be slow. That's why I'm here in right field, watching the dandelions grow. Off in the distance, the game's dragging on. There's strikes on the batter, some runners are on. I don't know the inning, I've forgotten the score. The whole team is yelling, and I don't know what for. When suddenly everyone's looking at me, my mind has been wandering, what could it be? They point to the sky and I look up above, and a baseball falls into my glove. Here in right field, it's important, you know. You gotta know how to catch, you gotta know how to throw. That's why I'm here in right field, watching the dandelions grow. I don't repeat a lot of songs, but I think it's my third time playing that in 10 years. In my hand, I have a baseball signed by Mickey Mantle. It says, "To Don, my best wishes, Mickey Mantle." And I like this ball. I just throw it around. I don't keep it on a shelf. I don't keep it in a glass case because I like to kind of be around the house because people ask questions about it, and I get to tell this story, which I told Reverend McCarr at Thanksgiving, and he said, "That's a sermon." So this ball, "To Don, my best wishes, Mickey Mantle." The Don isn't me, it's my father. And my father hates this baseball. So Mickey Mantle is considered by everyone to be one of the 10 best baseball players to ever play the game. He was, when he was young, the fastest guy on the base paths. He hit home runs as far as Babe Ruth from both sides of the plate, the best switch hitter to ever live. Everyone believes that except people in Atlanta. but it was the best switch hitter to ever play the game. In 1956, he won the Triple Crown, one of the only 13 people to ever do that, and the first of his 3 MVP awards. He was a Gold Glove winner in his career. He hit 536 home runs, hit 1,509 RBIs, 2,415 hits, and he won 7 World Series championships with the hated New York Yankees. On top of all of that, I heard on the radio this past Saturday from an old Yankees announcer that Mickey Mantle, in his rookie season, second game of the World Series, running for a ball, trips over an exposed drain pipe, goes down, has to be taken off the field in a stretcher. He probably tore his ACL, which was never fixed by surgery and never rehabbed. He did all of that on a bum knee, his whole career on a busted ACL. Imagine what his stats might have been like. Imagine a home run record that would never be broken. He would have finished his career leading the league in steals. He had a career in steals, which Rickey Henderson later would have broken. Anyway, I say all of this about Mickey Mantle because he was a god among mere mortals. He was a titan. And so you can imagine how excited my father was when he was going to get to go fishing with Mickey Mantle. My grandfather was the president of Chrysler Outboard Motors, the boating division of Chrysler, and Mickey Mantle did their commercials. So he worked it out. When my dad tells this story, I feel like you imagine like just him and Mickey Mantle in a little rowboat in the middle of a lake. Probably not true, right? Probably a big boat, a lot of people. But my dad was a smart kid, and he held intelligence in high regard. And Mickey Mantle was dumb as a post. Just kind of widely known, not a smart guy, Mickey Mantle. He was also an alcoholic and was probably rather drunk on a fishing trip. But so there's my father meeting this hero. And quick note about multiple intelligences. I believe physical intelligence is a real thing, and that Mickey Mantle read a baseball coming out of a pitcher's hand, read the way it was spinning, and decided whether or not to swing it traveled 95 miles an hour between someone's hand and a glove. He read a ball coming off a bat in center field and knew where it was going and got there. That is an intelligence that most of us will never know, and all professional athletes have that whether or not they ever graduated from high school. So, moving on. Mickey Mantle, my father meets him, and it breaks his heart that here's this guy who can barely tie his shoes that he's thought about as this god for his whole life. So he leaves the trip with this ball to Don, my best wishes, Mickey Mantle, and he hates it. So he gives it to his brother. His brother throws it in a box, and it disappears for 20 or 30 years. My dad's brother, my Uncle Matt, his house flooded, and in going through these waterlogged boxes, he found this baseball, and he brought it to my dad. We were living in California at the time, and he brought it to him as a, hey, look at this thing I found. Isn't this great? And my dad didn't think so. So he took the ball, which he hated, this memory of a broken heart, and he handed it to his 5 or 6-year-old son. And I saw this thing, this treasure. I was a big baseball fan. I didn't know anything about Mickey Mantle, but I knew he was famous. So I took this ball to my room, and as I mentioned, it had been through a flood, and the signature, which Mickey Mantle had done in blue pen, was rather faded, and I wanted to see it better. I know, I'm in the future too. So in the dexterous hand of a 5-year-old boy, I traced it in red Crayola marker. Yeah. And I ran out to show the handiwork to my father. Look at this thing I had just done. Now you can see it. I'd like to also note that one of the most faded parts was the end of his first name, and I spelled Mickey wrong. Just a thing that happened. So I go out and I bring this ball to my father, who could have been angry, right? That this might have been worth something. It might have been a piece of memorabilia that we could have sold. I could have gone to college. I did. Anyway, but I could have sold this and had it, and yet he just laughed. This had transformed for him from this hated thing, this thing that just brought him sadness, into this funny thing his son did. And so it gets to be a treasure of my life and a nice Father's Day memory. Thanks.